When I stopped talking to him, my father suddenly lost his favorite source of entertainment, insulting me and making me feel like I was the only bastard in the world. However, he didn't give up, hoping that once and for all, tired and exasperated, I would decide to leave our new home and go live with my grandmother. From the pan to the grill, as they say. That I said goodbye to my new bedroom, however, wasn't even to think about. Shortly before the death of our grandfather, we had moved into a house that we finally owned. Compared to the previous one, it was huge, built on four levels and with four bedrooms. I soon got used to the loneliness I had always dreamed of. I would have to wait for my brother Pietro to become independent and leave home to aspire to his room on the top floor aspire to his room to the top floor, yet that room would have been enough for my high school and university years. Adjacent to my parents' room, equipped with all the comforts to live in retreat and in apartment peace with a tawny and alien world around. My father found another stratagem to continue torturing me. He instructed his mother regularly during the week to hone the psychological violence that already she alone felt the duty to not to skimp on Sunday lunches. In fact, the common belief of mother and son was that in order to heal from my social character diversity, I desperately need to be insulted and denigrated for hours and hours, without the possibility of replying. Every Sunday after I returned from Mass, I had to sit at my grandmother's kitchen table to listen to the criticisms of that evil couple. Listen to me, Raphael, they said. You are stupid, you are horrible, you are a fool, a freak of nature. If you want to save yourself, you have to change, you have to be different. My son is a strong man, I raised him properly, and you can't be outdone. You are his firstborn, our heir. In fact, um, he had to leave me the house where she, my grandmother, had to leave me the house where she lived, and which my father had already planned to inherit it through a transfer of a property which, in order not to pay excessive taxes, would have fallen to me. So many stories of a concealed house, all dilapidated, in which never in my life, even if I had been normal, would I have dreamed of coming to live. When my grandmother began to suspect that we would never find a wife, she went to great lengths to brainwash me and force me to marry sooner or later. As the old had already happened with her only son, she didn't despair that in the long run he would have won. She would have won. Are you perhaps a Rickion? That's to say a lousy fag. You have to find a wife, a little girl you can handle as you please, and whom we will bring to live here with us. Can you hear me? As you have to become a man, you have to wake up. And I said, yes, sure. A man, I didn't even know what it meant to be a man. I was never a boy, but I could imagine that he would behave about the same as my father. He would belch, fart, and swear all the time, plus beat his wife, disown his children, pick fights with neighbors and drive away. All his relatives and the hope of inheriting a handful of euro from his mother would doted on him. I didn't really care about being a boy. That's because since I was a child, my mother cursed me, saying that since I was my father's son, I would become a monster like him. That's why you disgust me. That's why it's good to beat yourself up. In this gloomy scenario, my decision to become a priest and to flee at least to a seminary where they would be welcome me and protect me from our matured. Obviously, my grandmother didn't even want to hear about my vocation. Of course, she cared that I attended Sunday Mass, but only because I prayed for her soul, in case the God she hated, really existed. A male though does shave. Don't you hear? They call you a female. You are a female. You have to go hair on your arms. You have to go dressed like a little man. The adage continued, with my father nodding solemnly behind his grandmother. I think that ever since I stopped talking to him at home, he was somewhat intimidated by my shy, somber, and almost invisible demeanor. He had stopped beating me, and when he saw me walking around the kitchen with a knife, he would begin to tremble and look over his shoulder. Who knows, maybe it was good. I didn't take my up my grandmother's provocation and just agreed, except of course doing what I wanted with my body. It was that I was debilitated because I felt I was gay or female. My transgenderism would only come to light years later. All I cared about was losing weight until I became skin and bones, returning to a sort of unpublished childhood, disappeared even from the face of earth if it had decided to open them up under my feet. When my father didn't poke my grandmother against me, our Sunday relationship as a couple also had moments of serenity and complicity. Given the solid and quarrelsome nature of that ornate there to her father, she was a woman with a very few friends who, after their widowhood, was almost always reduced to at home, also due to a constantly worsening osteoporosis that gave her mobility problems. She loved to cook, and I supported her in an attempt to distract her from her obsessions with me. The rest of the day we spent in front of the TV, watching her favorite TV series. She wanted me to explain the more complicated plots, and I obeyed with pleasure. She liked soap operas. I like to live subjugated to her strong, tenacious, masculine will. I was nothing but a pet to fondle in her hands, and I enjoyed my naughtiness. With her, I didn't know who I was, how I suffered. I was breathing again, but outside of myself. I think that in recent years, even my grandmother had learned to accept me. I was left only to be a ghostly presence in her life. Last spectacle of her tragic, monstrous decline towards senile dementia, and a madness so devastating that it led to a stroke many years later. Thank you for watching my video. See you in the next one.